All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Shop Talk. I'm joined without my co host today. He's actually started a new job, and so his time is pretty well spoken for these days. So hopefully he'll be back on the channel soon. But for now, it's just me. So I'm particularly excited about today's episode because I've been on YouTube and Instagram a lot recently, and I've been looking at different pages and seeing what the most popular travel videos are out there. So if you follow a bunch of travel pages on both YouTube and Instagram, you'll notice that the most frequently viewed content there usually revolves around somebody taking a trip in a mode of transportation that was never designed for the intended trip it's taking. Such examples of this would be like someone taking a bicycle all the way around the world, or a family from Argentina who uses their 1926 gram page to circumnavigate the globe. And you can find countless other examples of this all across the internet. So that got me thinking, what are some of the wackiest vehicles for sale right now that someone could go out and buy and use for a road trip that would gain tons of interest? So doing a little Facebook marketplace sleuthing, I've come up with 6 different vehicles which I believe would be awesome clickbait if you were trying to start your travel YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's take a look at these. So the first example I've found is this 1982 Volkswagen Sandrail, listed for $8,500. The seller states it's a one-of-a-kind street-legal sandrail. He's loved this since the day one, and it is ready to let another person enjoy it. It's got a 4-cylinder VW engine, 2 gas tanks for long trips, which is plus, 75 mile an hour downhill, 70 mile an hour uphill, which if you're familiar with air-cooled VWs, isn't bad actually. Serious inquiries only. The post is up, it's available. So just browsing through the pictures here, it looks like it's got a 1600 dual port. It does have an external oil filter on it and a few other goodies. It looks like something you could add some off-road lights to, maybe a canvas roof and take it to the dunes or something like that. But it's an interesting little vehicle, and I think it would be a lot of fun to take on an off-road style adventure road trip. Our next example is this wacky track bus listed for $5,000. It's located in Rochester, Minnesota with with a Chevy 292. Doesn't know what trans, custom built frame. Says it runs but needs new steering clutches. Looking through the pictures, it looks like there's a stove and maybe some makeshift benches in there. So I don't know if someone was trying to make this like a hunting shack or some kind of weird camper conversion, but you'll definitely never see another one quite like this, and there may be a reason for this. I'm not sure exactly how road legal this is, but if you're looking to drive views to your page, if somehow you could make this road legal, this would be such a weird choice for a road trip vehicle. I mean, I guarantee you with that puny little 6-cylinder Chevy, probably not going to be going anywhere very fast. But definitely an interesting choice. Next up, speaking of slow, we have this 63 West Coast Mailster. So an old USPS truck, little 3-wheeler. It says here, runs, drives, and stops. Lights, wipers, and fan work. Not sure about the heater, so don't plan a winter road trip if you can. He says he will be working on it and the price will go up as he makes improvements. Looks like his plan was to make it a little food truck, but it says it can be legally driven on the street. So if you're down for an epic 3-wheeled adventure on what looks to be the world's most uncomfortable seat, this would be an interesting option for sure. All right, this one, kind of a curveball. This next one here, 1951 International Farmall M. So this was listed for $49.50. The seller states it was recently overhauled with power steering, new rear tires, and it should be good to go for parades, or in our case, a really weird road trip. So this is definitely something, if you're not familiar with Midwest culture at all, here in Iowa, there's like what they call the Great Tractor Ride, and they basically take old antique tractors and they go across the state of Iowa, and you can choose to go as far as you want. So it looks like this one's kind of been outfitted for that. So it's got this custom rear deck and front seats, so it seats 5 people. Somehow it looks like it has a radio installed, a rear view mirror, and what looks to be train horns under the rear fender. So this is definitely an odd choice. You got your flag holder there. You wouldn't be going anywhere very fast, but if you did the road trip right, this would definitely be something that would garner some views just because it's so interesting. And you could bring 4 unwitting participants with you as well. Definitely would need some kind of canopy to protect you from the weather elements, but I think this would kind of be a fun, interesting way to see the country at about 10 miles an hour in road gear, 10, 12 maybe per se. So not to rule it out. Okay, my last two are some personal favorites of mine, just because I've kind of been toying with this idea before, and this is my, if I win the lottery, I am definitely doing this purchase. So this one up here, we have a 2004 Chevy Monte Carlo NASCAR. Seller states he has a retired NASCAR he was in the process of making street legal, and he has pics of it when it was at Daytona. Not the original engine and transmission, has a small block Chevy 327, 4-speed Muncie. It does have a current Illinois title, and it does have, appears, glass windshield. Yep, glass windshield and working lights. Can't help with shipping. $13,000. There's a picture of it with the lights and everything. This would be so epic. I've seen a couple of these now on TikTok and YouTube where people are converting NASCARs for the street. And it even looks like this one has street tires on it currently. So this would just be, I don't know. I think this is so cool, and I really want to do this. So I would look for any excuse to try and take this on a road trip somewhere. I have no idea where I would go, but I would definitely go somewhere with it. All right, the last car I've got picked, still in that race car vein here. And this one is if you want a road trip solo and have 0 friends to go with you and are crazy enough to go with you, a street legal sprint car. So just like the NASCAR, except this is definitely a single seater. It's listed for $10,500. Clear Minnesota title, 350 small block Chevy. Definitely would garner attention everywhere you would go. Even got the lights back there and everything. Definitely unique for sure. I have no idea where you would store literally anything for a road trip, let alone barely yourself, but definitely would be something people would be talking about. So I personally would go for the NASCAR, but if you have a little extra flair, the sprint car would definitely be unique. So what do you guys think? Which one of these wacky rides would you choose to go on a road trip with? I know my choice. I'd definitely be taking that street legal stock car. And speaking of which, if this video somehow hits 1 million views, I will go out and buy one of these vehicles if they're still available, and we will do a road trip with these. Hopefully, stock car is still available at that point, but who knows? And if at some point this video reaches 1 million views and these are all long gone, I'll find something just as crazy to do a road trip with. But that's all I've got for today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm going to get ready to hit the road. Hope to see you out there. Take care, everybody.